Hi everyone, I am Mrs. Esther Rani, Assistant Professor of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today's our topic is reading skills, techniques of reading. So here, it's all, what is reading? What is reading skill? What is a skill in reading? Actually, this is an ability to look at and understand. To look at and understand a paper, a text on the paper, means some sort of writing on the paper, or we can say that hoardings, signboards, we can say that, and then on computer, something what we have written. When we read and understand, we call that skill, reading skill. And then mobile also we can use that, and any other material that, whatever that we use to read, the capability or ability to read and understand something what we have in front of us, a text, whether the text on the paper, a text on the signboard, a text on the computer screen, a text on the mobile or any other material, we call reading skill. This is an ability. So why we have to read means what is our objective before reading this, means learning this reading skill. Students must be able to know the importance of reading skill. That is main objective. Students nowadays, you see, they are not reading, they are watching, they are listening music, they are watching films. They are putting less effort on reading. So, to build reading capabilities or to tell them importance of reading skills, that is our main objective. And then to identify, the students must identify the techniques of reading. Techniques of reading, skimming, scanning, like extensive reading, intensive reading. And to know the information transfer. Information transfer means text from diagram, diagram from text. And how to tackle comprehension passage is also one of the most important reading skill. So this is the objective before we start this lecture. And what is the outcome? Means at the end of this lecture, student must be able to read to trigger and reinforce other skills along with that, means grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation and writing. And students must be able to become a better reader, first of all, at the end of this session. And then they must develop critical thinking skills also. And they must be able to identify in the text what they have in front of them, the setting, how it has set. And then what are the main events, what is the climax, if it is a story or anything, how to resolve, how to summarize the content. So these capabilities the student must get by the end of the lecture. And they must be able to respond thoughtfully, verbally in writing. So these are the outcomes of reading skill. So now what is reading skill? Let us go for reading skill is a method of communication that enables a person to turn writing into meaning. And it allows the reader to convert a written text as a meaningful language with independence, comprehension and fluency, and to interact with a message. And what are the significant influences on this reading? A few are reading influence. Few are the things which influences the reading. They are, reading always helps to expand our mind. When we read, our mind will expand. We come to know many things when we read. Reading helps us to know who we are. So internally, we can understand ourselves. What is important to us and what it helps us to understand a world around us. For this sake, reading is very important. It influences, reading influences people in this way. And then what is the purpose of reading? So it connects the ideas on the page to what you already know. Means the person who is reading, he or she can connect his ideas, what are there in the page, which that you already knows. And second thing is, if you don't know anything, about the subject. This is nothing but pouring knowledge in your mind. That's why we have to read and read and read. So reading is a great habit. So everybody must know that reading is very, very, very important because it can change human life significantly. People, audacious readers, they'll be whole human beings. The ability to read is as important today as it ever was. Unchangeable, this is. And then it can entertain us. When you read comics, it entertains us. We get relaxation. It amuses us. It enriches us, our knowledge. And then we get experiences from the narrated part of the text, what we have in front of us. So there exists some reading techniques. So for this reading, we need to have some techniques. We need to follow some techniques. Many people, they follow a few techniques while reading, which if master those reading at a growing stage, they help us to be a better and far more comprehensive readers. So we need to follow these. Here I'm giving 4 very important reading techniques. First one is skimming. The second one is scanning. Third one is intensive reading. And fourth one is extensive reading. Many types of people are there. Those who follow these. A few people, they just skim reading part. And second category of the people, they scan each and everything. And a few people, they go for intensive reading, and a few people, they go for extensive reading. So let us understand very clearly what these are. The first one is skimming. Skimming is nothing but reading for a gist. Reading for a gist of the text means what we have in front of us. Just for the sake of gist, if you read, that's what we call skimming. This reading technique is used for getting the gist of whole text what we have in front. Means when we see for example, when we read the newspaper or a magazine, we use this technique, skimming. We never read a newspaper pinpointedly. Never. Each and every word, each and every sentence we never read. A few students, they go for movie columns and sports column. Only headings of that. They go for the skim. They skim the matter what they have in the newspaper or a magazine, and with that, they try to understand everything. Okay, here under this technique, we read quickly to get the main points. What is the intention of the people? Those who go for skimming. The method skimming while reading. Their intention is they wanted only main points. Just they skip completely in detail and they take only main points. And it is useful in getting a preview of the passage before reading it. Just they'll take the preview of that. And they take analysis of remaining thing. And the third one is the gist. The gist is general meaning or a purpose of the text, either written or spoken. So reading text for the gist is known as nothing but skimming. Skimming is nothing but gist of the reading. And the next one is scanning. Reading for specific information. Just I said no. Scanning means we scan everything. Means pinpointedly each and every point if you go through while reading. That's nothing but scanning. See the boy who is in the picture. Pinpointedly each and means he is like scanning every sentence. Students, they have to scan. They have to go with this method, scanning method, while preparing for examinations. Scanning through the text is a reading strategy that is used in getting specific points by looking at the whole text. So, for highlighting an important point of a book, the reader skim through summary of or a preface or a beginning and ending of the chapters of that book. Right from the beginning till the ending of the chapter, they just go on, keep on scanning. For example, this technique we use for looking the name in the telephone directory. Have you seen the telephone guide, what we call telephone directory? If you want a number, see, we just keep on scanning each and every number till we get the particular number which we are searching for. This is nothing but scanning. And the next one is intensive reading. What is intensive reading here? Intensive reading is a bookkeeping report or insurance claim or some contract. If you go for deep into that, we call intensive reading. Means for a logic, for chronological event in a long passage, you see, we go for intensive reading. It aims to clear in mind when undertaking intensive reading. So, if you need to list a chronology of events in a long passage, we need to read intensively. So, this type of reading has indeed a beneficial to the language learners. Every intensively, each and every grammatical point they have to learn, as if it helps them to understand vocabulary by deducing the meaning of the word only to the content. And moreover, it helps with a retention of information. Retention of information for a longer period of time. Intensively, if you read, you can memorize. You can memorize and acknowledge resulting from intensive reading process in your long-term memory. So it will retain in our mind for a long duration. So that is, intensive reading is very important while reading. Few people, they go for intensive reading for the sake of long-term memory. And the next one is extensive reading. What is extensive reading? Extensive reading is nothing but reading for pleasure. Reading for pleasure. When we love to read a book, when we like the book, you say, again and again we read the book. That gives us pleasure. That gives us relaxation. See the picture where I have given two small children and then a girl they are reading a book so impressively, happily involved themselves in reading, which we call extensive reading. They are enjoying reading that. Extensive reading is nothing but an element of enjoyment. Element of enjoyment, we can say that. It is unlikely that students will undertake extensive reading of text. Do not like. So it also requires a fluid decoding. Means while if you like to the book, if you like the book, you see, we just keep on decoding each and every assimilation of the text and content what we have in front of us, which we call extensive reading. If the text is difficult and you stop every few minutes to figure out what is being said, if you like that, or to look at new words in the dictionary, and then you are breaking your concentration and diverting your thoughts, the book shouldn't be so complicated. So, extensive reading is possible when you like the book, when you like the text in front of you. It is for pleasure. Extensive reading is only for pleasure. It's an element of enjoyment. So when you feel that the text is giving you pleasure, you'll just here and there you'll stop whenever you get a difficult vocabulary. You take the help of dictionary, and then though it breaks your concentration, deviate your thoughts, you stop and go back and read, enjoy the book, which we call extensive reading. Reading for pleasure, an element of enjoyment, nothing but. And here are a few more techniques that we have, reading in different situations. So techniques we read in different situations. So what are they? First one is active reading style. People, they actively read. So active reading aims to get an in-depth understanding of the text. So what it is there, so deep, we concentrate. We concentrate. Here, see, under this technique, the reader actively involved with the text while reading it. So, to gain in-depth knowledge on the text, what they have in their hand, they skim, they scan. Okay, they go for intensive reading and they take pleasure in that. They take pleasure in that, which we call active reading style. In this, we have a structure, a method, specific method is a structure, preposition, evaluation. Very important. This is an interesting reading style technique suggested by a great person, Mortimer Adler. He has written a book which is called How to Read a Book. How to Read a Book. So, this reading technique is mainly applicable for non-fiction. Non-fiction means like apart from stories and all, see what we have to read, which we call non-fiction, technical. So this technique suggests reader like the following things. First one is studying the structure. The first one, structure, preposition and evaluation. First one is studying the outer structure of the work, means what it is. Before going deeply into the content, say they'll study the outward structure of the book or the content or the text what they have in front of them. And the next one is preposition, studying the logical and logical propositions made and organized into chains of inference. Means they'll see how logically each and every situation or each and every theme that was made in the text, organized in the text. And last one is evaluation, the merits of the arguments and conclusions they'll go for. So, a very good book. Good book must contain structure, preposition, evaluation. According to Mortimer Adler, what he has written, like how to read a book. In this, he has followed structure, preposition, and evaluation. Structure is outward structure of the book. And then second one, preposition is logical arrangement, organization of the thematic chains. And then evaluation is merits of argument and conclusions what the person has given in the book. So this is one of the techniques, active reading style. The next one is detailed reading style. See in the picture I have given a small girl with the help of in detail, she is going through each and everything. So this technique is used for extracting information accurately from the whole text. They'll not go for skimming or they'll not go for scanning or not for the sake of gist or anything. Say they wanted each and everything accurately, pinpointedly from the whole text. Detailed reading we call this. Under this, see, we read every word which is understandable and along with the meaning of the text. And this is very useful also. We can skim the text first for getting a general idea and then go back to read in detail. People, those who go for detailed reading will not stick on to detailed reading only. First, they'll skim everything. Then means they'll take the gist of that and then go for detailed reading. So we can use this. For this, see, we can, the people, those who go for detailed reading, they use dictionary also for unfamiliar words, to know meaning of the unfamiliar words. And the next one is speed reading. Speed reading is actually what we call that to gain speed reading only, we practice this speed reading. Is actually a combination of various reading methods, whether we call it skimming, scanning, active reading or detailed reading, whatever it is, see, this is the combination of various reading methods. But the aim of this speed reading is basically to increase reading speed without compromising any other strategies. Okay, so in this, you see, people, they'll not identify words without focusing on each other. Means they'll just keep on reading. They'll keep say for example, half an hour they keep for one chapter. In that half an hour, their intention is they have to read completely. They go for speed reading. So not to sounding out all the words, means while reading, you see, they'll not pronounce the word independently. They overlap word to word so that, you see, they can read speedily. Not sub-vocalizing some phrases. When we start reading, you see, few people, for example, few people, you see, they read words separately, not, sub, oculi, some phrases, not like that. So speedily they'll read, not sub-vocalizing some phrases like. So spending less time on some phrases than others. They know very well which phrase is very important and which is not. So that is it. They skip a few things and they go ahead. Speedily they read. So they wanted to inculcate speed reading, that's it. And then reading textbook. How to read textbook? 3 methods that we have to follow. Preview, read and recall. So briefly that we will go through all these things. First thing is preview. Preview is you can get main idea of the reading. In preview, just to get main idea of the reading, we go with this. So this helps the reader to plan ahead with his reading and prepare his brain to understand and remember what he is reading. That is the main intention behind this preview. So he spends 5 to 10 minutes to familiarize himself with the reading assignments. And then a few elements that he'll go for, means he pay attention to only a few elements like title, introduction, subheadings, then what we call that, diagrams, pictures if you have, or if you have charts, any summary questions, or in this way, they pay attention only for these in preview. And one more thing is they plan ahead for reading. What is the main idea behind that? And how long will it take? So in this way, they prepare their mind. They preview, which we call preview. The next one is read. How to read? They have a plan, you see. They monitor attention and understand regularly to ensure to know the concepts in each section. Means the people, those who follow this while reading a text, they try to understand the main intention behind the passage. They ensure the concepts, to know the concepts in the each and every section. And one more thing is they underline keywords. While reading, they underline keywords, phrases. So one need to, if you want to go thoroughly with the text, how to read the text, see, you have to underline keywords, key phrases, and prepare notes, and use highlighters, so that you see it will become easy for them while recapitulating everything. If possible, you have to take notes also on important concepts while finishing reading. So consider the material into a studyable package with an easier to the review later. So if you consider the material into study package, so that later if you review also, it will come to use. Then the next one is break up your reading assignments into manageable sections. So don't read completely as continuously. Break them into assignment sections, so that you can manage them while recapitulating all. So take a short break if you are getting easy distracted. If you are distracting yourself while reading the textbook, you see, so take a short break, and then again you just involve yourself. Or if you are unable to focus for a long time, you see, take a break, short break, relax and go ahead again. And then recall. This is very important. Preview, read and recall is the last stage of while reading the textbook effectively. So here, quiz ourselves, recollect ourselves. Recall means recollecting ourselves. So quizzing ourselves. See, quiz yourself so you can remember the information. Question yourself. We forget much of what we read within minutes. Our memory is very less, so that you see, we miss what we have learned. So every time you see, we just quiz ourselves, and then remember the information what we learned, and turn the heading or first sentence into a question, whatever that you have. For example, communication. So if the paragraph starts with a communication, so question yourself, what is communication? What is communication? Then you see, you can recollect easily after you finish reading. and then close the book after paragraph and recollect. This is the common tip that every teacher gives. Close the book after paragraphs or sections and see if you can explain aloud the concept and information in your own words. Whatever that you have read in the textbook, close it. Then keep saying loudly. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself questions and answer them with the information from the textbook, means what all that you have in your mind. Ask yourself questions and try to answer them. Recapitulation we call that. So these are a few tips to read the textbook effectively and to organize yourself and to get some techniques of reading. So children, I think you have understood reading skills, techniques of reading skills, skimming, scanning, intensive reading and extensive reading, active reading, and then detailed reading. All these things is you understood, I think. How to read the textbook purposefully also, I think. So in this way, you just hone your reading skills. Thank you. Thank you for being with me throughout the session. Thank you very much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.